My ex-husband and I got divorced 7 years ago. We share custody of our young teen daughter. He got married and has a preschool-aged daughter with his now wife. His daughter would spend time with my daughter regularly. They adore each other, but she doesn't come to my house and they rarely meet up there. His wife has been diagnosed with cancer and has started treatment recently. The other day he came home to drop our daughter off and asked to speak to me. He talked about his wife's circumstances and how his family won't be able to have a Christmas celebration this year. He said it wasn't fair for his daughter and asked if I could include her in my family celebration. He pointed out how the girls would have a great time together, bonding and making memories. But I said I was sorry, but my family's traditional celebration is a sacred thing, and I don't feel comfortable including anyone else. Plus, it'd be awkward to have her in my home. He said that his daughter might not be family to me, but she sure is to her half-sister. He asked me to stop and think about what's best for the kids here. I suggested he take his daughter to spend Christmas with her grandparents. He said that there's no contact, and he tried to cut the conversation short. Still, he stopped me and started talking about how cruel it was for me to decline to include his daughter, who's already struggling to adjust. I saw he was beginning to cry, so I stepped back and said I was no longer comfortable having this conversation. I asked him to leave, and he did, but still texted me, asking me to agree to let his daughter come spend Christmas. He even offered that he stays away if that makes me less uncomfortable. I said no, and now he's calling me selfish and unfeeling. A point worth mentioning here is that my family is going to attend, and they said that they too will not feel comfortable in this situation. Thus, I said it'd be awkward. So, am I the idiot for not taking in my ex-husband's kid for Christmas? You are the idiot. You're well within your rights to refuse. You don't owe your ex-spouse anything. It's your holiday and you can celebrate it however you want. But you are still the idiot here. This child has a sick parent. She's only 5, and you have the chance to show kindness and embrace the true spirit of Christmas. Instead, you're choosing to be hard-nosed about it, and in doing so, making a lot of people's lives bleaker at a time when you could be making them brighter and more helpful. I agree. If the sisters are close, then that should be more important. You're meant to love your kid more than you resent your ex. OP, if a father of a friend of your daughter presented you with this situation, what would you say? Would you have the friend over for Christmas, or would you keep it strictly in the family? Wow, that's emotional blackmail at its finest. You'll end up being the babysitter. You are not the idiot. There's nothing good about taking a young child and throwing her into an environment she doesn't know and isn't comfortable in, full of people who don't know her and don't want her there. These idiots are calling you heartless for not making the kid feel worse because her idiot father doesn't care about what's best for his kid. You'll ruin Christmas for everybody if you agree to this stupid request. The kid is young. She's going to be fine at home. You're not the Grinch because it's Christmas. You're under no obligation to babysit your ex's kid. There's no reason they can't celebrate Christmas, just the 3 of them. Or if he's worried that it's not going to be magical for his youngest daughter, ask his in-laws, aunts, uncles, etc. Just because he's no contact with his parents doesn't mean his daughter can't go to her mother's side or anyone else on his side. Not only that, but if his wife is starting cancer treatment, would her immune system not be compromised and best to keep everyone in contact with her, or at least living in her house, away from people who, in all honesty, you don't know where they've been or who they've had contact with? These are exactly my thoughts. That child doesn't know you or your extended family, only your daughter. This could be her last Christmas with her mom, and he wants to take that away from her, even if it's just the 3 of them in pajamas eating cookies all day. He's the idiot. My baby daddy was a narcissistic jerk and often emotionally abusive to me, making me cry regularly. We had a daughter, Mia, 22. He left when she was 8, but regularly sent about $1,500 a month while he traveled the world. Mia would often cry about him missing her birthday, but he would make it up by sending her consoles and makeup. But it still hurt her that the guy didn't even bother showing up to her birthday. Mia's getting married soon, and we were working on the guest list, and we were talking about who was walking her down the aisle. She would constantly switch the conversation. My husband and I asked about it, and she said she wanted her bio dad to walk her down the aisle. My husband said, BS, I've been raising you forever. It's not fair. And Mia replied, my real dad bought me a car. He paid for my surgery, and he even sent me money for a dog. My husband looked heartbroken and went out of the house and told me he was going to the bar. Mia looked at me and said, sorry, Mom, but I want him. I know you and him have bad blood, but I want him to do it. I've been sending letters and he's been responding. I then said something I regretted. I said, if you invite him, I'm not giving you my wedding dress or coming. Mia started tearing up and said, fine, don't come, and ran out. So now my family's calling me heartless, and I feel alone and an idiot. You are the idiot. You and your husband can be disappointed and hurt, but she's allowed to have a good relationship with her biological dad, even if he was an abusive partner and absent father in the past. And while her reasons for a better relationship now seem financially driven, she's also indicated that they've been in contact and building a relationship for some time. So it is possible that he's become a better person and can now be another father figure to Mia. Are you all ignoring that our grown daughter wants to invite her mom's abuser to her wedding because he buys her crap and just buys gifts to make up for his lack of parenting? So yeah, I get why the stepdad is upset when he was there when her bio dad wasn't. Not the idiot OP. My dad abused my mom, and I'd never invite him to my wedding. Yeah, sounds as if your idiot narcissistic ex is working his charms on her and she's buying it. If it happens, he may let her down on the big day. It would help if you had a quiet talk when things calm down. If you haven't given her the full story about him yet, maybe now is the time to tell it, as long as it doesn't get heated. That was a nasty slap in the face for your husband, but bear in mind that she's likely being manipulated by a selfish liar who's playing at being a daddy. Is it possible daughter's so starved for her bio dad's love and support that she thinks this is the way to get it? If she picks him over her stepdad for her wedding, maybe he will finally be there for her, be in her life and love her. Of course, it will never happen, but please stay in your daughter's life and keep an eye on her so you can be there when she's disappointed by her father the next time, and the next time after that, and the time after that, and on until she realizes he's not worth it. My dad died when I, a teen male, was a baby. My mom remarried when I was 4. I don't remember when my stepdad wasn't around, though that's not very good. He's a crappy stepdad and a crappy dad to my 4 siblings. My mom stays with him, watching him not be involved or even nice to his own kids because she doesn't want to be alone. My dad's family has been in my life always, and I'm very close to them all. My dad's only sister and I were extra close though. She adored me and always told me I was just like my dad and that he was the best man she knew. She said he would be so proud of me, although unfortunately, she died a few months ago and left the bulk of everything to me. She had a lot of assets. My mom and stepdad were annoyed when they heard because she left all my cousins all something, even if not as much as me, but nothing for my stepsister or siblings, who considered her their aunt as well. Dad's family has included them in some stuff to be nice, but they're not considered grandkids or anything like that. My mom told me what I got should be split equally. I said it shouldn't because my aunt wanted stuff left for me. She told me that if I asked my grandparents to give me access to the money now, they would, and we could all benefit from it. I told her they would do that, but I'm not going to ask. My stepdad told me my siblings will now realize me and my paternal family, hate them and don't want them. They'll see what a crappy brother I am and what a good sister his daughter is. She hates our siblings and has never had a good relationship with them. Mom told me I was hogging more than I would ever need and not thinking of their futures. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your dad and stepmom want access to that money and are using your siblings to get it. Tell your grandparents what you wrote here, and don't even try to get that money before you're 18 and leave the house, for your own sake. If your grandparents live nearby and you get along with them, could you consider moving in with them if you get too much pressure at home? Side note, don't spend that money. Live simply and save it. Don't tell your friends, and don't get some flashy car, You do not want the heat that'll bring, and the parasites will come crawling. This, a million times over. The best thing you can do is say nothing to anyone about this money. Use it to live your best life and take the financial stress away. Your aunt left that money to you, not to support your mother, step-siblings, aunt, uncles, or cousins. It's for you. Respect her wishes. Watch closely. Your mother or her husband may tell your siblings about the situation, which is none of their business, to increase the pressure on you. That will tell you that their greed matters more than you do. I suspect your mother's husband is behind most of this, including manipulating your mother. He may try to trap and twist you in other ways. Avoid him, reduce contact. Moving out would be a good idea. I, 34 female, have been married to my husband, 33, for 6 years now. We have 2 kids, a male preschooler and a female toddler. I come from money and also make about 10 times what my husband does. When we first got together, I noticed that his family had taken advantage of him financially. He's a very kind man and the perfect person to have as a partner and father. Although to get around this whole greedy family thing, I offered to pay for everything when he came to us: house, living expenses, medical expenses, vacations, clothing, etc. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if he wanted to be a stay-at-home dad, but he loves his job and I love to see him happy. Early on, some of his family tried to get money from me, but they backed off when I brought up a contract and a notary. I'm now considered that rich daughter-in-law who happens to be a cold witch, and honestly, I don't care. My husband's whole salary ends up going to his family, paying almost everything for his parents. Somehow, one of his siblings is always in an emergency, or a cousin needs help with their business. Even though they're all firmly middle class with good jobs. Before anyone asks, when it's a true emergency, I always give money without expecting it to be paid back. Now to the situation. We're visiting his family for Thanksgiving. We thought it better to go a few days earlier. They live in a mountain town, and it's gorgeous this time of year. I rented us a cabin and paid for 5 first-class tickets. Mine's, his, the kids, and the nannies. We arrive at the airport, and surprise, surprise, his sister just happens to be on the same flight. I called BS. It's obvious he told her when we would be going, and she decided to get a ticket for the same flight. We greet her, then I hand the kids to the nanny and send her ahead to the lounge because I had a feeling about what was about to come. Then sister-in-law dared to ask me to upgrade her to first class so she could travel with her family. Kudos to my husband, he shut her down before I could. Then she asked us to switch her tickets with our nannies. I told her point blank that I wouldn't be doing that and that my nannies needed to help with the kids. I'm useless on a plane because of nausea and the meds, and my husband can't realistically be expected to take care of 2 kids on his own. She starts complaining and making a scene. I turn around and start walking toward the lounge. My husband follows me about 10 minutes later. Apparently, he tried to pay for her ticket upgrade, but it was a full flight. So he tells me that he will be switching with her. Here's where I might be the idiot. I told him that he knows I can't help the nanny during the flight, and if he was going to leave the poor woman to her devices just because his sister can't live within her means, then this will be the last time that I'll be paying for his tickets ever again. He texted his sister to tell her that apparently he can't switch tickets with her, but he's pretty upset. So, am I the idiot? Edit. When I said my husband can't be expected to take care of the kids on his own, I meant logistically. 2 rows of seats with a wide gap between the seats and between the rows. Each kid would need an adult to sit next to them. I am useless. I can't even open my eyes because of the meds, and I usually need someone to help me. We're both perfectly happy and capable of caring for our kids on our own in normal circumstances. Not the idiot. You and your husband need to have a very candid conversation about his family and their expectations of him, because that's what it has all become at this point. They expect him to pay for them in their day-to-day living, and bless his heart, he can't tell them no. But set boundaries for what he will do to support them. Maybe he doesn't give them financial assistance unless you both agree. If everyone has a job and makes a decent income, I don't understand why they depend on him to pay for their bills. The sister is extremely entitled, expecting you to upgrade her to first class. Good on your husband for shutting her down initially, and bad on him for being willing to trade with her. I think he believes his family's love is conditional on him financially supporting them. Unless he's willing to find out, he won't be able to set boundaries. Yep, you touch on an important issue. Your husband is flirting with a crucial line. He sounds like a very kind and generous person, but it also sounds like he's crossing over that line into being an enabler. There's generosity, and then there's codependency. The difference between the two is healthy boundaries. He's not actually helping his family by giving. They haven't learned anything other than he's their ATM. Help more often than not is teaching people how to help themselves, not just providing everything for them all the time. It might be time to insist that his family start learning how to help themselves. I, female teen, have divorced parents like many people. My dad married my stepmom 3 years ago. My mom got married to my now stepdad 2 months ago. My parents' custody agreement has always been 50-50, which worked well. So my parents were able to co-parent well, even though they got divorced. Before my mom married stepdad, we lived in a cute 2-bedroom apartment. It was small, but I liked it. Both my mom and I had our own space. Once mom and stepdad got married, my mom moved into his house. Now my stepdad has twin daughters due to family issues, and they live with them full time. Stepdad has a 3-bedroom house. When I first went to stay at my stepdad's place, I was informed I had to share a bedroom with my much younger stepsisters. When I said I thought there were 3 bedrooms, I was told the other room was my stepdad's man cave. I was willing to try staying in a room with the twins. I tried for a whole month. It just didn't work. They go to bed earlier than me, and I have no privacy, which is nice to have as a teen girl. I asked my stepdad if we could make the other room a bedroom for me. He said he needed his space, so I told my mom I would start staying longer with my dad. I visit my mom 3 to 4 times a week. I go over to my mom's on weekdays when I get off of school, and I stay over there until 10:30 p.m., so I'm over there for quite a few hours. When I'm there on weekends, it's longer. Recently, my mom has been complaining that she barely sees me anymore. I told her I was sorry she felt that way, but it wasn't right that I was expected to share a room with 2 kids. I also said it's more understandable if we truly didn't have the room, but we do. Stepdad is just being selfish, and you agree with him instead of prioritizing my needs as a teenager. Mom got upset. Stepdad called me selfish and an idiot, saying kids share rooms all the time. Your stepfather is calling you selfish? Well, that's rich. Your mom should have advocated for you before she ever agreed to marry or move in with that guy. Not the idiot. Your mom and stepfather are. Your mom made her choice, and you're making yours. I don't blame you. Expecting a teen to share a room with 2 children when there's another bedroom available is ridiculous and even cruel. Her letting your stepdad call you an idiot isn't cool either. I bet he'd freak out if she called his girls brats. I hope your mom's happy now. Your stepfather is a parent. He's being selfish and irresponsible. If it were an office and he worked from home, I'd maybe see it differently. But no, he doesn't get a man cave if he crams his 3 kids into another room. What are his poor twins gonna do when they're teens? Get the custody arrangement rewritten so you're 100% with dad. I can't see a family court letting the man cave slide.